How's it going, everyone? This video is going to be about refining your intraday bias into lower time frame entries. If you haven't watched my intraday bias video, it'll be linked in the top right. Please feel free to check that out. So getting into it, the first thing we're going to do is mark out our point of interest on our higher time frame, and in this case, the 15-minute chart. We're looking for lows, highs, imbalances. So if you're looking right here, we have some relative equal lows right in here, an old low right here. We have some highs right here that were taken out here. So this would be our level we're looking at there. And then what is up here? A 15-minute fair value gap, as well as another high right here. So keeping that in mind and seeing that we just filled this fair value gap, I'm not super biased because we had an aggressive move up met with an aggressive move down. Normally I'd be looking short right in here, but it's just not super convincing because we're at the low of the range anyways, basically low of the year. So I'd want to see some sort of Judas swing up before going short. So keeping that in mind, we're just going to wait for these areas to be ran in order to look to get an entry. Our bias is waiting for areas or points of interest and then look for lower time frame setups. Continuing ahead, you can see we get an aggressive move up, taking these highs, continuing. So then what you're going to be looking for is this high and this area up here. So we run that high. If we go down to a lower time frame here, such as a 1 minute, we never really broke structure in order to get short. Right here, this is an obvious liquidity grab. No candles closed below here. Never broke this low. Never broke this low. Yes, we do get an aggressive move down right here, but it's immediately bought back up and way more aggressive to the upside. Next point of interest will be up into here. And so if we let this play out, we're up into here. Now what do we want to look for? We want to look for our lower time frame setup, right? That's all what this is about, giving you points of interest and then search for that lower time frame setup in order to get an entry. Yes, it could go higher, and that's why we don't automatically enter here. We wait for a lower time frame setup to reduce our risk. We want to see displacement down, right? Big fair value gaps. No fair value gaps yet, right? Still no fair value gaps. We get a tiny one right here, right? You can see, we zoom in a little. Yeah, you could take that trade. I'm not super convinced, right? Look at this displacement range versus this. So continuing on. Okay, so that is some aggressive movement, right? So we do have a fair value gap here that you could look for an entry. So if we continue, there is an entry right there. You could short it right there or on this order block there. Put your risk on this high, and then your immediate target would either be internal range liquidity, OTE of this area, but considering we just ran the high in the morning, you can either target these lows down here or these equal lows all the way down here that we mentioned prior. So keeping that in mind, you can see we get an aggressive drop. And now if you miss this entry and you're like, oh, I want to chase, why chase? We have another fair value gap in here. If you get a retracement into there, you can short that as well. So where would you want to short in there though? Because that's kind of a large area. I would look for this order block, right? So this opening of the series of green candles up before the move down. And I would look for an entry there. And so we get our move down. And if you double check with your OTE, you can see that's right in an OTE as well. If we get a move up into there, you can look short. And so right there, that would be your other entry short, risking this high here, and then the same low down here, right? Obviously you can take partials or trade how you want if you just want to take off a 2R. So continuing that. Another thing to notice is we put in some highs here. I like to look for a run of these highs and then get short as well, right? So there we go from the highs, and we start to drop and continue to drop here. And if you notice, when we are on the sell side of the curve here, you want the premium PD arrays, right, to resist price. So you would want this order block right in here to resist price. So that would be another opportunity to add. And we'll see how that works. And same thing here. We want to see those highs held, and we'll let this play out, but eventually we do get our drop into those lows. So if we're just going to go through and review what we just went over, the first thing you're going to want to look for is points of interest, old highs, old lows, equal lows, imbalances, order blocks, whatever you use to determine points of interest where you want to watch price action. When we reach into those areas or points of interest, then you want to go to a lower time frame in order to look for your model. So if you look at this, right, displacement leg up, we're in our point of interest. Nothing too convincing to go short yet. This is our first little aggressive move down. If that wasn't convincing, you can wait. Here's an aggressive move down. Return to an OTE, order block, and fair value gap there. There's your sell, and we will continue selling until we get some sort of aggressive move up. And if you're noticing, as you follow structure down here, and if you just follow these highs, is there any time where we displace or get large aggressive candles over this structure? No. Yes, this broke this high, but you can see no displacement, and it immediately sells back off. Knowing that you're going to continue selling, what can you look for? You can look for secondary entries or later entries. So if you look at this lunchtime entry here, aggressive move up, met with an aggressive move down, runs this little high right there, raised liquidity, aggressive move down. What do we have right here? Our fair value gap. There's a sell right there. Hope this helps you guys out. This will be kind of an intro into my Build a Model series where I kind of go over what I look for in an entry model and how you can kind of customize it and find what works for you in order to find your lower time frame entry model that you feel comfortable trading. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Thank you.